Wewe hata kama tumekushinda si nimekujenga nikafunga leo.
Hujanijenga.
Hey, chobo unakubali makosa? Bye.
Welcome Griffins to the show. This is Kikwetu Hockey. First of all, how has COVID-19 taken you?
Asante sana Owen. Thank you very much. Matters related to COVID, I'd say same as everyone. It's been a difficult period, and we are hoping very soon with the vaccine we are going back to our normal lives. That's the only thing I can say about COVID. Given the fact that I was in Italy, especially time COVID really hit, I don't want to think about that period. Ilikuwa a very difficult period, of course, for everyone around me, for myself in a foreign country, but so far so good. We thank God for the advancements na penye tumefika. It's been a journey.
Okay, how was the feeling with your family back at home and you are in Italy? You can tell us. Terrible. I had guys worried all through. Nashukuru sana because of the love, not just family but from everyone, including hockey fraternity. But of course, in a foreign country with such a situation, and then we had this issue, a total lockdown. What you love doing, you cannot play anymore. Unajua. I can't find a better word to describe that period. Such a terrible feeling. Ilikuwa ngumu sana. Yeah. So were you training all that time? You can tell us your...
No, actually what happened for us, we had the indoor session. Unajua, during winter we play indoor. So we were participating in the indoor finals, and actually that Sunday morning we were supposed to play the semi-finals, indoor semi-finals, in a town called Brescia. Then the government, the authorities walishu nini wakasema you cannot play anymore, because immediately that morning I think Brescia itself walipoteza around 100 people. So ilikuwa shock, because given that ndo watu walikuwa ndio ilikuwa imeanza. So they cancelled everything, and we even had issues traveling back juu ya nini roadblocks everywhere. So we went back, you get tested irrespective of whether you have COVID or not, na hiyo panic yote. So government ikaissue a total lockdown for 3 months, total lockdown. So that was the thing. Training ilikuwa ile ya kwa nyumba, you just train in your house if you want to train, because you've nothing else to do, and you can't watch the TV because it's all death, COVID. Ilifika time ikakuwa monotonous, and so the only thing I could do then was maybe train at home. I didn't play hockey for almost 5 months.
Okay, you can tell us about the competition before COVID happened.
Which one in specific? The indoor or the outdoor? Both. The outdoor.
Yes.
We had a good season. We had a very good season. The first leg tulikuwa tumemaliza number 3. Of course, my main competitor Johnny Botsio walikuwa ahead of us as number 2. They are now promoted to the first division because they finished as number 2. What happened after the post-COVID? So the Italian Federation iliamua the first 2 teams will proceed directly, kwa sababu hatungeweza cheza second leg. So unlucky for us, they had 1 point ahead of us. Tuna hope next season we will get promoted. The competition was intense, as always. Very difficult, a very difficult league, very engaging, a lot of learning process at the same time, and because it's something professional, a lot of work, a lot of commitment, a lot of discipline. Always the best environment to learn.
Okay, how can you compare the league, the Italian league and the Kenyan league?
Sicheki kwa sababu sitaki compare, but we are hatuko mbali sana. I think we have the numbers in terms of play, in terms of talent, in terms of young age, but the difference is I think the structure, in terms of structure, in terms of implementing those principles of play, because you see there they start at an early age, and the message they are preaching, all the coaches are preaching the same message. So from club level, for example, nipeane instance, assuming tumesema national team we are going to play a 4-4-2 formation, ama we are going to play 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 formation, depending on the coaching committee and whatever they have decided. So unapata whatever they want to achieve that year, iko forced through, somehow penetrated through all clubs. So these players are familiar with this thing as early as at club level, no, and as early as at a junior level, no. They know what they are doing. They know what is expected for a national team player. I think that is what we are missing. But somehow nimeona with the current Olympic whatever coaching courses, we are heading there. In terms of the league, naeza sema they are ahead of us. First of all, because of infrastructure, and then because of I think policies na availability of resources in terms of learning materials. Hiyo tu. Sioni kitu ingine hawa watu wanatushindia. All over the world, in fact. I mean, you've watched Pro League, you've watched all these other matches, and you've seen that we are not far from these people. We only need sharpening, and we only need to refine our knowledge in terms of the game. Utapata difference ni these guys spends a maximum of 3 seconds with the ball. Maybe our guy spends a maximum of 10 seconds with the ball. That is where the difference is coming from.
Okay, at any point, what have you missed about your former Kenyan team, the club?
Maybe my teammates. My teammates, and I've missed the chaotic environment when I was in Kenyatta University back then. And you can bear witness because we played with you back then. The motto thing was very, very effective. The spirit, the culture we were trying to build as a team. Ulikuwa unapata hata tukikuja City Park, we have masses wanting to watch Kenyatta University play a Premier League match. Somehow in between jani inakuanga na majali, so somehow in between team ilikuwa relegated, but I have seen now they are doing a very good job. I am really recommending what they are doing, and I hope very soon watakuwa wamerudi back to the Premier League level.
Okay, now Griffin, you are a big player, in fact, from Kenya. How can you describe your style of play?
Big in terms of size, I'm a
big
in terms of wallets. My style of play. Wewe ndo unafaa uko unaniambia. You are the one observing me. Well, I think it's very difficult to describe. Mtu anaweza describe kweli. But anyway, I think I'm the kind of player, or I have always wanted to be the kind of player who creates play for another player. I believe in playing. My style of play is to ni kujenga mtu mwenzangu. I don't believe in myself as myself. I believe my role in the game is to make sure the other player is functioning. I have always wanted to be the heart of the body, coordinate all these other activities, make sure they are going on well. Maybe what's the opposite of selfish? Sijui. Naweza describe kama the opposite of selfless. Thank you. A selfless player. That's what I can say. In terms of strengths and weaknesses, I think as a midfielder, as a utility player, as a complete player, Squeezy, it's a demand. It's a demand with the way modern hockey is evolving. It's a demand that you must have the vision, have the speed, good tackling, read the game, your pace, your ability to control pressure in difficult moments. Hizo vitu zote. It's a demand with the modern game. So siwezi sema niko na specific strengths. And if I have specific strengths, I think I am always working on having all these strengths that I see around other players. In terms of weaknesses, I'd still say, and it's something with all other players. All other players, I think, irrespective of whether it's football or whatever it is, I think we struggle so much as players to process information from the coaches as it is in their brain. Unaelewa? Na feeling kuna hiyo deficit. I feel 2 + 2 for a coach is not a 2 + 2 for a player. If only players could process that 2 + 2 as it is in the coach's brain, then I think you'll get the best out of a player. I think that is what we are struggling with as a player. Weaknesses of every player.
Okay, who is these 2 players, the toughest players you've played against in the Kenyan league?
I'd say one tough player I've played against in the Kenyan League. I would start with the Brian Musasia Morgan. The first match I ever played against him, Kenyatta University was promoted to the Premier League. And it was during that period that they had kulikuwa na hiyo shift ya Kisumu Simba to Butali. I think after I came from police. He's the toughest player I've played against because on a release ball, it's very difficult to predict what he's going to do next. He's not the kind of guy who engages you in terms of elimination and everything, but he eliminates you even before you start thinking about when he will receive that ball. The other player, I think it's me myself. Sioni mtu mwingine. I feel I'm that player. Yeah.
Okay, tell us about your involvement with the national team and your preparation for the next tournament.
Umenipandisha juu. Involvement with the national team, I think I'm coming in as a player, just like any other player in Kenyan Premier League who love to play for the national team. And what was the other question?
How are you preparing for the next tournament?
Of course, at a national level, things are a bit different. You just don't work hard, you have to work smart. And that is what I think the coaches who have been assigned that job are doing with us. Very good job. You've seen that we don't have time. Hatuna time kabisa. Na with the little time we have, they're really pushing, doing their best to make sure things will work out. We don't know. I'd say it's a very difficult period for the national team because after COVID, what wajokuwa kicheza, I think even kama ningekuwa coach taking that job, I will have second thoughts because of what has happened with COVID. But we are soldiering on and we hope we will give the best. In terms of preparations, like I said before, I think what the coaches are feeding us in terms of knowledge, in terms of the philosophy, some of the principles they want executed in the field, they are doing a commendable job. They are doing a very commendable job.
Okay, apart from hockey, you are greatly involved with the Tunza. You can tell us about the experience with Tunza.
I'm not really greatly involved with Tunza. I think I'm a friend of Tunza like any other person who could be a friend of Tunza. Tunza is doing a very good job. Big up to Raquel and Oaka and the team. I was involved with Tunza. They had a workshop. I think it was about empowering young women, sharing knowledge with them. I had a session with them here, sex education. So I'm not really part of Tunza, but of course I won't ever think twice about investing in Tunza in terms of sharing knowledge, in terms of empowering these young girls, because it's a very good project. Yeah.
Okay, you're also coming up with something. Tell us about the hockey culture. What can we expect?
Hockey culture is a long-term project. I have, lucky enough, thanks to God, I have had the opportunity to play hockey outside Kenya, in Europe. I have interacted with some of the players who play in the Pro League. I have played against quite a number who play in the Pro League. And I have seen how they operate, how they do their things. It is something I want to share in my own environment. Hapa kwetu nataka pia share your knowledge. So the idea of hockey culture came to me when I was doing the level 2 coaching course. And I have always wanted to create a platform where this knowledge can be passed to players. Remember I said at first, there is this deficit of processing that knowledge as it is in the brain of a coach to the brain of a player. And given now that I'm an athlete to player coach, I would say, because I've done the coaching and I've played, I think I'm in a better position to help fellow players in the country up their game in terms of sharing knowledge. So hockey culture basically is there to help people learn, diversify this knowledge, bring the dynamic abilities in terms of play, understanding the modern game, how the game is evolving, understanding, for instance, a winning pass in a 2v1 scenario, understanding what elements should I execute as a defender in a 1v1 scenario, such things. So I think breaking down concepts and letting people understand, because hata ukiangalia generation yetu is a digital generation. It's very different from the guys who are ahead of us. The way we've been brought up, the resources that have helped that bringing up, need different. So I feel in my position still as a player and someone who has been exposed to that knowledge, I can get something good out of fellow players in the country with hockey culture.
Okay. What can you advise any young player? Wale wanakuangalia sahi. What can you advise them?
I think they need to work hard. Wale wananiangalia. Na wenye wananiangalia. I think they need to work hard, work smart. Of course, always believe in themselves, and most importantly, discipline. Discipline haimaanishi, you put on a tie, you do all those things. Discipline everywhere. Hata ile time unasema I need to drink water at 10 a.m. Make sure you drink that water at 10 a.m. Discipline in terms of the person you are. Embrace those principles. There is a new wave of life. No. We are lucky to be people of this generation. At the same time, it can be a demerit. It depends with how you perceive all these things. There's a lot of knowledge everywhere. Hata saizi ukienda YouTube, there's a lot of things. So it's upon you to choose what you want to feed your brain. No maana nasema discipline. It's the hardest thing to commit to, but again, it's something that will give you a long-term result. The other advice naezambia young people ni always look for a long-term result. Tuachane na hizi vitu za short term. Azitupeleki mahali. Let us always look for a long-term. Let us be our own project. Work on our own. Work on ourselves. That is my advice to those guys who are looking at... Those who are not looking at me. Tafadhali, ebu look at me. Anzeni kuniangalia.
Sawa Griffin, it was nice having you today. Till next time.
Okay.